3 more games to go. Eagles need to win all 3. And now they're taking on a guy named Dwayne, not from Swedesboro. Mike Skulski is here. I am Adrian Fedke. Eagles and Redskins Week 15 preview. Let's get into it.
Yeah, let's go. I mean, we're on a winning streak after
We
those
have
3
won
games. We have won
game.
a winning streak of 1. I mean, it was looking bad. We're coming off 3 losses, and then after that first half, I don't know any Eagles fan that really felt comfortable like we were about to close that one out. But Carson Wentz put the team on his back, though, and then we ended up with that W. That was a comeback win we've been waiting for. We've seen numerous opportunities where the receivers dropped the ball, but I mean, Carson stepped up and several practice squad players stepped up. I mean, we had 1 wide receiver by the end of the game. I mean, I know it was the Giants, but I mean, it still feels good to, win in that fashion.
Well, I mean, you're not kidding, dude. It was 17-3. I was at the game. I was 7 rows up, and then I had to leave at halftime to go to the post-game show. And I cannot tell you how many people left at halftime. Droves. People just left. Obviously, it's raining. Terrible weather. It was a terrible performance in the first half, and you got a team that's 5-7. So people were leaving in droves. And then Carson, he flipped the switch in the second half. And the Giants kind of struggled with their tackles. They couldn't get off blocks. And the other big key here is the fact that Carson's accuracy was a lot better this week. So he was putting the ball on the proper shoulder, allowing the maximum yardage after the catch for guys like Boston Scott, who had a big game. And this was really the key to the victory on Monday night.
Yeah, Carson Wentz has the highest QBR while he's out of the pocket. So I've been calling for a long time, roll him out, find different creative ways. Our offense, which used to be, one of the most creative offense back in the day, classic Peterson's been kind of predictable and one-dimensional. But in the second half, you started seeing them using Sanders and Boston Scott at the same time. You were seeing screens, you were seeing fake screens, you were seeing all these other type of things I've been calling for. Because we don't have the talent, so we need that creativity. And one thing Wentz will always be, he's a great improviser. He's a great, when a play breaks down, finding someone who's open. So I think they gave Carson, an opportunity to shine through the play calling, and he delivered.
Yeah,
and
sure.
give props to Boston Scott. I mean, we cut him earlier in the year, and then he ends up, he looks like Darren Sproles 2.0, at least for that game. But now, I mean, with all these guys out, he's probably going to be featured next week too, so it'll be interesting to see.
He's going to definitely play, I'm sure. And, he was a guy that struggled against New England. I don't remember what his numbers were, but he really didn't have a good game. And then they kind of went away from him the next week. They really didn't see him again until Monday night. So Miles Sanders was averaging less than 3 yards a carry. Jay Ajayi, he kind of looks like he's done.
Yeah.
He just doesn't have it. And then he gets put in there, and he's catching swing passes. He's getting good yardage, and then he's running the football effectively. He averaged 5.9 yards per carry. So
I think also the Giants just don't. They respect Miles Sanders, but they're like, "Who's this Boston Scott guy?" And then Boston Scott rose up to the occasion. They weren't worried about him. They're like, "Oh, let's focus on the tight ends." Then, this little guy named Boston, gets a swing pass and takes it 20 yards. So
more than a feeling. There it is.
Help from a guy named Boston, a guy named Dallas. Who would have thought in Philadelphia?
Yeah, right. Jeez. Now we just need a guy named Pennsylvania. I don't know if that's
right.
possible. I don't think it's possible. Or Philadelphia. I don't know. All right. You know what we're going to get into right now? We're going to get into receivers because people are in the comments section. They're asking about it. Some people want Antonio Brown. Some people are asking, should we sign a receiver? What do you think the Eagles are?
I don't expect anything big. I mean, I would have guessed we would bring back Jordan Matthews, but he signed with the 49ers. I'm guessing they're hoping Aguilar's back, and I'm guessing Mark and Michelle is going to be promoted to the 53-man roster. I don't expect any big moves. I definitely don't expect Antonio Brown. You have to remember, even if we did sign him, he's still probably going to be suspended if we did bring him in. So he's kind of like a non-factor. Even if we would sign him, it'd be a big fancy headline and distraction. But he's not. He still wouldn't be suiting up. So I expect. I mean, assuming it sounds like Jay Jaw is going to be healthy. It sounds like they're optimistic Aguilar is going to be back. Greg Ward is obviously playing okay. And then I expect someone like Mark and Michelle as depth. And then, even Perkins stepped up, played a lot of wide receiver. The worst case, you got Josh McCown, who was apparently ready to step in at wide receiver. But
the 40-year-old.
Yeah, I don't expect any big moves.
No, definitely not. No, if they're going to promote somebody from the practice squad, that's what they're going to do. And, all these moves that they've been kind of doing over the weeks cutting Jordan Matthews. They cut Matt Collins. That kind of tells me they want to see what they have in house. They want to see what these young guys can do. And I don't know which guy you're going to bring up, Mark and Michelle or Robert Davis. It's probably going to be one of those two. Those are two guys that can go and catch the deep ball. Michelle caught one earlier in the preseason, if you remember. It was like 75 yards, I believe, from I think it was Sudfeld threw that ball, if I remember correctly.
So, yeah.
So I think he's going to get the guy. He's going to be the guy that gets called up. Robert Davis is a 6th-round draft pick out of Georgia State in 2017. He's a speedster, but I think Mark and Michelle will get the nod over him.
And I also would like to see do more 2 running back sets. I mean, both Miles Sanders and Boston Scott are 2 great receiving running backs. Kind of how we did with B West. Kick them out wide. Have both of them out there, kick one of them out wide. I mean, this is the time to be creative when our weapons are down, or we have nothing to lose. I mean, it's time to be creative with our play calling. Let's see what we can do. We can take a page out of the Andy Reid book when we had trash wide receivers and our running back was our best receiver. He found a way to get Westbrook like close to 100 receptions. So, I mean, we just got to do what we got to do with what we have.
No, I completely agree with you. And this is something that I've kind of said a little bit, even on the radio. So, whether it's getting guys out in space or even running the football, trying to use unique and different formations. I mean, I don't know what that might mean necessarily, but, we saw a full house look on a snap where they shifted Jeffrey out wide, and I don't remember what they did with that play. But looks like that, running out of a full house look, running out of maybe a T formation, that's what Chicago does. If you really want to, think about some old school stuff, you could run by the way, single T. I still have my Xfinity Live thing from the game on my phone. Anyway, as I was distracted, sorry there. Even run some wishbone. I was thinking some wishbone, just something different, unique, something that can spark this offense.
I mean, trick plays have been killing us all year. Why not have one of our own? Go for something big. So I mean, and also speaking of trick plays, that flea flicker the Giants ran against us. Thankfully Josh Sweat got to the backfield, because I mean that would have been
that was one of the worst plays I've ever seen, and then they got 2 yards out of it.
If I was an opposing team, I'd run at least 2 flea flickers against us a game. It seems like we fall for it every time. It's ridiculous.
Well, I think the thing that happens is, Rodney McLeod's a very aggressive safety, and he kind of slides up, and they get him. They get him to bite each and every time. So, yeah. All right. What were your thoughts on the defense? I mean, Ronald Darby got beat twice, but besides that, they really didn't do anything. They didn't allow anything.
Yeah, I mean, although I disagree with him on 90% of things, that Booger McFarland actually brought up one good point, is when you have a quarterback who's getting the ball out quick, when we're giving him, these large cushions, it's kind of playing to their factor. And then the whole first half, we weren't really getting pressure on them, and that kind of changed. We kind of flipped the script in the second half, and, we started getting pressure on Eli, and you saw how that kind of just changed. I think they only had 30 yards total or something in the second half, something ridiculous like that. But yeah, I mean, there's 2 blown coverages. It's something we can't. Our offense isn't explosive enough to get in high-scoring matches. We can do it against the Giants, so we got away with it. I mean, I don't think there's any really excuse for that one at the end of the half. I mean,
that was bad. That was a 55-yarder too.
Yeah, that's not something that should happen, especially when you got a speed guy like Ronald Darby. You should be able to make up his speed. I know Schwartz said it was his fault, not Darby's, but still, it seemed kind of to even be in that position at the end of the half seems like a mistake. But give them credit; they stepped up. I mean, Josh Sweat stepped up in a big way. I mean, Vinny Curry stepped up. He looked like the Vinny Curry of old after he's been kind of a forgotten man most of this year. But well, I guess we'll see once we go against. I mean, we're not going to really going up against that much better offense now, but we play like that against Dallas, how we did in the first half, we're going to be in trouble, even with their struggles.
Oh yeah, I kind of think in a way, I kind of look at these last 4 games almost as the preseason again, because if you want to win in the playoffs, you obviously have to do something completely different than what you're doing now. So, I mean, obviously you still need to win these games, but you need to figure out what you have and what you can do to move the ball. And that's kind of what we just talked about. But I think it's these next 3 games, that's what it's about. And you really just unload the entire chamber on Dallas. That's the way I'm looking at it.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure.
know?
I mean, that's what we got to do. I mean, I expect us to win against Washington, but I mean, I still wouldn't take them for granted. Not the way we've been playing. I
Dude,
think.
I don't know like what to say anymore in terms of predictions because before the bye week, I thought they were starting to come together and come along.
That's what it seemed like.
Yeah, and then ever since the bye week, it's been dreadful. It's been awful. They threw it 72% of the time that 3-game stretch during the 3-game losing streak. And then last week you get down 17-3 against the Giants, a team that's now lost 9 in a row. The Eagles are only 4.5-point favorites in Washington.
Yeah, I mean that doesn't surprise me at all. I mean the way they've been playing. I mean, it seems like there's always one facet of their team that isn't working. I mean, against the Seahawks, against the Patriots, our defense looked like they finally turned a leaf, and they were, we held 2 great offenses to, low scoring game, and then our offense didn't show up. And then against the Dolphins, we scored over 30 points, but our defense let Ryan Fitzpatrick completely carve them up. So it's really hard to make any projection because, I mean, you never know which Eagles team's going to show up, and you don't even know which Eagles offense or which Eagles defense or which one may show up and the other one might not. So it's like it's really tough to really make any guess.
No, dude, you're exactly right because all 3 units have not played well in the same game at the same time. We haven't seen it. And, it's like you think they're turning the corner. You thought the defense was turning the corner. Then they go and give up 37 to the Dolphins. And it's like and then in that game, you had 31 points from the offense. The offense actually kind of had a decent game, but the defense couldn't stop anybody. And that's been the problem and the issues all season long. Maybe you can get this thing corrected by the time you get into the playoffs. You only got 3 games to do it. But, all 3 phases, they need to start playing better.
I mean, I'm hoping that, the way in the fashion that we won last week, the way we were able to Carson was able to put the team on his back on offense, and then, with only 1 wide receiver and all these practice squad guys, Lane Johnson out, and then our defense, they, after a tough first half, they kind of clamped down in the second half. I'm hoping this is. I mean,
you're hoping what I'm hoping.
Yeah, I'm hoping that
you're hoping that Carson Wentz is about to get hot.
Yeah,
that's
what pretty much. That's our only really hope for anything. I mean,
in terms of making a playoff run, he needs to get hot, like ridiculously hot.
Yeah, and that it's not just him. And the defense can't play like they did against the Dolphins.
Defense needs to keep playing the way they've been playing. Yeah.
Yeah, running game. Carson Wentz getting hot and defense playing consistent to their potential, then we have a small chance. But in the playoffs, a small chance is still a chance. So,
hey, as long as you get into the postseason, you never know what happens. Giants did it, 9-7. They did it twice.
So. But first, we got to beat the Redskins.
Yeah, no, that's
which normally, if you would have asked me 4 weeks ago, I would just mark it up as a W. But even though I'm still picking them to win, there's still that part of me is well, which Eagles team's going to show up? So I'm still a little bit scared, but it's still a game we should win.
They should win, and that's what I said about the Giants. I said that they should win this game by 10+, and then they didn't. And so, all right, so we'll just do predictions now. That's what we'll do. We won't make this a long preview show. So what is your score for the game?
I'm going to go 34-17.
Ooh, okay. So you think are you buying the fact that Carson's about to get hot and they're about to score 34 points against the Redskins?
The only way I really see the Eagles losing this game is if we beat ourselves, and I think that's
exactly how I view it. Yeah, and that's kind of what they did almost on Monday night.
Yeah, I think if we have Darby get roasted by Terry McLaurin, or my biggest worry right now is Ryan Kerrigan because Lane Johnson looks like he's going to be out. If Big V or whoever we put out in right tackles just can't stop him, then it's going to be a low scoring game for us on offense at least. It's going to be tough to move the ball, but I'm encouraged with how our running game has been. I'm not sure what to expect if Jordan Howard's going to be back or not, but obviously that would be huge if he is. But we are a more talented team, and for all the struggles we've had on offense, Carson Wentz, while he can do a better job holding on to the ball with fumbles, hasn't been really turning the ball over too much. Washington's defense isn't that good. So, I mean, this is a game we should win. As we talked about, we don't. It's really hard to predict for this team. We could win big, we could lose big. And that's how crazy this team's been and how crazy inconsistent they've been. But I would think after that big comeback win, us pretty much controlling our destiny going forward. I mean, there's no reason for us not to win big right here.
Well, if you remember the last time they had a kind of crazy comeback win against the Giants, Jake Elliott hit a 61-yard field goal, 62-yard field goal at the Horn, and then the Eagles went on a run after that. So maybe the same thing happens here. That I really believe that Carson may have turned a corner for this season. He may have. And if he did, then yes, the Eagles are going to win this game comfortably, I think. I've got 24-13. That's what I've got right now. But if they score in the 30s, I'm going to feel good about Dallas.
Yeah. I mean, you also have to figure, I mean, Carson had a few comeback opportunities, means where the receiver makes a routine catch. You know, we're not even talking about having the win out. We're probably sitting pretty comfortable right now on top of the division. I mean, he threw a strike to Aguilar, who dropped a touchdown in Atlanta. Jay Jaw was a little bit of tough catch, but he dropped it. Ertz dropped 3 touchdowns against Dolphins. I mean, he actually has been playing surprisingly well in clutch situations, but this was the first that other people stepped up to help him. You know, Greg Ward made a nice catch. Arcega-Whiteside made an amazing catch after being pretty much hidden most of the game, and obviously Boston Scott stepped up. Even Miles Sanders, they had both of them out. He did that fake handoff to Scott and off to him, and that was like a third down, I believe. So that was a big third or fourth down. So
there was a drop in this game. Greg Ward dropped a touchdown.
He did.
Remember that? And that throw was unbelievable.
I also think that Arcega-Whiteside, the one that they challenged for pass interference, I think if Greg Ward didn't get a finger on that, I think he probably would have caught that too.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Or if he didn't get a finger on it, I think it would have been pass interference. But since he touched it, you know, obviously there was no pass interference to be called.
Yep. All right, so I'm going to put you on the spot before we get out of here. Are the Eagles going to win the NFC East?
Ask me after this game.
I'm going to say yes. I honestly think the Rams are going to beat the Cowboys, but it doesn't matter because the Eagles still got to beat them.
Yeah.
But, it feels like they've given up on Garrett, but like maybe they turn the corner this week too. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough. Again, we talk about Kerrigan this week, but then we have DeMarcus Lawrence next week. So, even Lane Johnson, who normally shuts him down, struggled with in the last game.
Yeah.
So, I'll tentatively say yes, but again, a lot can fluctuate. If we win big this game, I'm definitely going to pick us next week. But if we skimper by, or hell, if we lose, even if the Cowboys lose, it's going to be hard to pick the Eagles, because I mean, it's one thing to lose to Patriots and Seahawks, it's another to lose to the Dolphins and Redskins.
Yes.
So, like I said, this week will be a big tell sign of whether or not we actually are turning a corner, whether or not Carson's turning the corner. There's some encouraging signs, so I'm hoping that we can carry that momentum. Carson can carry that momentum, and we can, we'll be playing some playoff football.
Yeah, if they win by 2+ touchdowns, I will feel good about Dallas for sure. All right. Anything else you want to say before we depart? A little 20-minute preview. This is going to be.
Let's just keep the play call creative again. I mean, we have a lack of weapons like we have had all year, but now the weapons that we had are even more banged up. So some of our best playmakers are in the running backs. So let's find creative ways to get Boston Scott, Miles Sanders, Greg Ward, who's very shifty wide receiver. Find them ways to get them the ball in open space and let them make a play with their playmaking ability. Find ways to get Carson Wentz out of the pocket where he's the highest QBR in the NFL. So it's time for Doug to be 2017 Doug, and then I think that would bring out 2017 Carson.
Yeah, this is all about Doug, Dr. Doug, getting in the lab, trying to figure out the formations, figuring out the chemistry, everything. It's all about Doug right now. It really is. All right, that's it for this show. That's Mike Skolsky. I'm Adrian Fedke. Go Birds. Hopefully they don't lose. Oh, my God. Hopefully not. We're out. Peace.
Thanks, guys.